But we are waiting to hear from President Obama after a deadlock in debt negotiations yesterday. He's giving lawmakers 10 days to get together and try to make a deal. So where are things now? Here, Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. She's on the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Good morning. So we just heard that the president is going to give a short statement at about 11 o'clock, and then he's going to take questions from the media before meeting with congressional leaders at 2 p.m. yesterday. It's a little bit of a surprise that the president is coming out and talking to the press first. What do you want to hear from him this morning?
Well, one of the things I think that if he were talking to me this morning, I would say to him, Mr. President, you have gotten on the last nerve of the American people, and they don't want a tax increase, and you just don't seem to understand that. What they want to do is see the size, scope, and cost of the federal government cut. They want the spending cut. They want some caps in place. They want a balanced budget amendment to come out of Washington and go to the states. And, Mr. President, it is time for you to give it up. All right, you're not going to be able to raise taxes.
Well, the two sides are so far apart on this. I mean, how on earth do you think you're going to come together?
I think that what we're going to do is continue to stand steadfast. Cut, cap, balance. The American people are with us. You know, they've said it time and again. Washington is too big. It doesn't have a revenue problem. It has a spending problem. This is a very serious issue. They are saying, tell us the truth. Let's get to work on this, but it means reducing the size of the federal government, reducing what it spends. And I'm glad that the American people have stuck with us on this.
But the president wants $1 trillion in tax hikes. Congress, the Democrats in Congress at least, want more. So are Republicans going to agree to some measure of tax hikes?
The Republicans are not going to agree to tax hikes.
So, we go back at this again. So how do the two sides come together when you're so far apart?
I think there again, the American people and Republicans in Congress have been very clear. Let's cut. You know, it's interesting when you listen to what the economists are saying. They're not saying they're looking for a debt hike. They're looking for what we're going to do about spending reduction. The time has come to, in a very serious, sober manner, address the spending, the out-of-control spending of the federal government. And that's what we're willing to do. We've put our plans forward. I've had my across-the-board spending cut bills out there for years. I think this is the time where we say this is an opportunity to go make these cuts. Let's get busy. Let's make these cuts, reduce the size of regulation, reduce the size of these agencies, reduce what the federal government spends.
All righty. Well, I guess that comes down to a matter of who blinks first. So we'll keep following that angle. But there is something else that I want to ask you about today. There's a vote taking place on the floor of the House of Representatives. You need 2/3 to pass this thing. And this has to deal with light bulbs. President Bush signed into law back in 2007 a pretty broad energy bill. But among the things buried in this bill was essentially something that would get rid of the light bulbs that we have today. So Congress backed this. Republicans backed this before. And now you want to get rid of it and keep these incandescent bulbs. What do you think is going to happen?
Yes, and I voted no when this came before us. There are some things to bear in mind. These compact fluorescent light bulbs are dangerous. They're filled with mercury. They don't work. They're subject to blowing out when you get a power surge.
Well, they work.
They're
it's just
expensive.
The light is a lot brighter and not so comfortable on people's eyes, and a lot of folks are upset about it.
Well, and it takes more to get the right amount of light. But basically, what has happened? These new standards ban the incandescent light bulb, and those new CFLs are a lot like this Obama administration. They're too expensive to afford, and the American people have said this is bad policy. These light bulbs don't work. We want incandescent light bulbs back in the marketplace. So yes, we're going to be today and tomorrow debating this issue, putting it on the floor, taking a vote, and we do need a 2/3 majority, so people are going to have to call into their member of Congress and help us get this passed.
But why is it that Republicans supported this in the first place?
You know, there was a discussion about how do we make things more energy efficient, and there was all this talk that this would be a way to use less energy and get more power, more efficiency out of the light bulb. The problem is the theory did not work when it was translated to a product. And these light bulbs, the CFLs, are all manufactured in China. They're not manufactured here. So we have lost those manufacturing jobs, and our capital and our jobs have gone to China for a product that does not work well.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. We'll
Thank
keep
you
you posted on what happens with that light bulb vote.
Yeah.
Was that
Yes,
Home
we
Depot?
will.
I kind of like my old light bulb.
Yeah, I was at Home Depot, asked the guys about it. They knew all about what was
Yeah.
going on in Washington. These are the salesmen right there,
did.
as folks were stocking up on their old light bulbs.